Hi guys, my name is Ukomlenzana and I do career content and healthy habits content. In this video, we'll be talking all things career. I'll be talking specifically and giving you guys tips and tricks on how to do salary negotiations. We're all about the moolah. How do you increase your salary? How do you negotiate a new job for a salary increase before you even start the job? And also be looking at how can you actually increase your salary when you are at your current job, and this is not a company policy where all salaries for everyone are being increased, but you want your own specific salary to increase. How to negotiate for these two life events that can happen to anyone and for anyone. I'll actually be reading from my notebook, as you guys all know that I still use my phone to record. This video was actually inspired by an article that I saw that was summarizing tips and tricks on how to negotiate your salary. And from my own personal experience, I have negotiated for my salary quite a few times. Well, more than twice. I guess that is quite a few times, but not more than 5 times. I've actually negotiated, if I remember correctly, 3 times. And for the 3 times, I was successful twice, and in the one attempt, I was not successful. So let's first look at your new job. How do you go about talking about money for a new job? You're currently still in interviews. They haven't given you the offer, or they have given you the offer. How do you go about it? The article gave us quite a few tips. It gave us like 10 tips on how to negotiate for a new job. The first thing is that they're saying, number 1, research salaries. Ask the people who are working at that company, how much are they getting paid? Check on the internet, on Google, what's the salary range for that specific role. And my best thing is ask people who have a similar experience as you and who are actually in a similar role as that you are applying for. How much are they getting paid? Or even if you don't ask how much are they getting paid, how are they getting paid? Just be specific on those questions. And my best thing that I would advise is use LinkedIn. DM people specifically on LinkedIn and ask them about their salary range. Obviously explain why you're asking this question, and you can maybe tell them that it's actually for your job interview and sort and all of that, and you're trying to negotiate for a salary. So do your research and ask the questions during the interview. When you're asking this question during the interview, you have to be very specific about it, and you have to ask it in a very nice way, because you don't want them to think that you're just here for the money. You want them to have a good perception of you because they have not even given you the offer. So it's still an open discussion. So definitely ask about it during the interview. And I must say that if you're a senior in your career, it's easier to bring up this topic than when you are just starting out your career from the beginning, like you are in the early stages of your career. You might feel scared. You might feel like, how are they going to perceive me? And at the same time, they might just tell you that it's just market rate, like it's market related. They might not be as willing to talk about this question during the interview as you would like to. However, asking does not hurt anyone. So definitely bring it up during the interview. Communicate your value. The third point really speaks to you being a senior. If you're a graduate trainee or you are a trainee who just came from varsity, it's going to be hard for you to communicate your value, but nothing is impossible. If you have some career experience and you have grown in your specific role, you can definitely communicate your value. And when you're communicating your value, basically you explain how your CV and how your experience relates to a specific value that you have. And in this part, you can actually use what you have gathered during your research. How are people, what are people offering, and what's the current salary range for the specific role that you're applying for. And also the other tip and trick, don't disclose your current salary during an interview. I know that so many companies actually want to know what's your current salary so that they can up it from there. But actually try your best to not disclose your current salary. This can be very tricky. I totally understand. And in my previous roles, that personally I have experienced and how I had, like, the salary thing was brought up, I always had to disclose my current salary, but it was never during that interview. I would disclose it by them requesting my pay slip, and that's how they would determine my salary. Avoid mentioning salary figure first. So you need to let the employer or the interviewer, if you're in the interview, to actually mention the salary first. You can nudge and try to nudge them to talk about the money, but try to not mention the actual figure. Don't mention the amount about the salary. You can bring up the conversation, but do not mention the actual figure that you want. You need to hear what is their budget and what are they willing to offer you, and then you can negotiate on specific amounts from that. And also, stay in the driver's seat. You are the one who must lead the conversation. They want you, so because they want you, they will listen to you. Okay, maybe that's not true, maybe they won't really listen to you, but the article was just saying that you need to be in the driver's seat. You must drive the conversation. Like, this is when now you're communicating your value, you're talking about how you think you're worth this and that, but still make sure you lead the conversation. This can be a bit tricky. I've never done it personally, but I can see how it's possible. And also, read between the lines. Like, there's a perceived value that interviewers will have of you, and there's a perceived value that the industry has of your specific role and what you are actually applying for. So definitely read between the lines. If you can tell people's characters are like this, so move according to that. And understand that salary is only one part of the conversation. You do not want to sell yourself for the sake of the money. You do not want to overcommit yourself for the sake of the money. So as part of understanding the perceived value, like being able to read between the lines, just know that your salary is only one part of the conversation. There's a conversation about hours, your function, what will you be doing. So there are other things that you can actually negotiate for besides salary, because salary is money. You can negotiate that you get free time after 3 p.m. Like, you can say that, okay, you actually want to work from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. without taking breaks, and you get to leave home. You get to leave the office earlier, and you get to go home and rest and relax, or you even get to go work on your side hustles. You can negotiate that you actually want to work from home. You don't want to come to the office, and by you not coming to the office, that can reduce your monthly expenses, as you won't travel as much, and that still means you actually get more money to yourself than you would if you have to go to the office all the time. So it's like, negotiate other parts that can impact your salary, or that can allow you to have more free time to do other things. This is why we say that salary is only one part of the conversation, and it's not the entire everything. There are other things that you must be wary of, and do not sell yourself in an uncomfortable way just for the sake of getting the amount that you want. What if their number is not good? So think about those things. Have what if situations that you already prepare when you going to negotiate your salary. What if they don't give you a good number, especially for new jobs? Some new jobs can give you like a really bad number, and you're just like, am I really worth this? Am I not worth this? Which brings me to my last point, that no deal is better than a bad deal. You know what? Some jobs will offer you lower than you are worth, and do not take it. This is a tricky one, and it's a hard one, especially if you really want the new job, or you really want to grow in your career. Be able to say no. Be willing to say no, because sometimes you might think an offer is a good offer, but based on your research, you know that it's actually not that good. You know that, like, your colleagues or people you'll be working with actually are earning better than you. So why is the company giving you the smaller amount when their current people are earning more? So just be willing to take a no, because then if you take a bad deal, you will constantly not feel good about it, and you will always have regrets and say you wish you have done that, you have done this. So maybe just don't take the deal. And this is very tricky, it's very hard, but I've heard people that said that they did not take new jobs because the jobs were saying they could not afford them, and as much as the person was willing to move to a new company, but because the companies that they were doing interviews for kept saying we actually can't afford you. And at that time, when a company says they can't afford you, it could be a bit of an manipulation time where they're trying to manipulate you to accept a lower offer. So be wary of that, and to not always accept lower offers unless there are some things that you really want. For example, let's say the offer is like, we're gonna give you 5k less than what you want because we will allow you to work from home. So in those situations, maybe you can consider that, but just in general, be skeptical. And those are the 10 tips that this article had was bringing up, that these are the 10 tips and 10 ways on how you can negotiate your salary at a new job. Let's come to my lived experience. My lived experience is that I negotiated for a salary. During interviews, I have never really tried to understand what is the salary, but a way that I think I could bring this up is I would ask about the budget. You just ask the budget, like what budget you guys have for this role, and if you are a senior and you have experience, you are in a better position to really understand the budget and to understand what are they willing to offer, so that you can know whether are you comfortable or not. And the other way is when they're giving you an offer, you can counter offer. You can say, can I please get this? And this is something that I have done. So at my other job, they were giving me an offer and I was like, can I please actually get this amount because of ABCD? I explained my experience, I explained what I think I have and what not, and I was so like bold and confident in why I think I deserve a better offer, and they only increased it by a small amount. They increased it by a small amount, and I was like, a win is a win. Even though it was only increased by a small amount, they did not give me a higher amount as I would have hoped for, but they still increased it, and I was happy about that. And at my other interview at the same job, that they actually increased my negotiation to the amount. They actually, during the interview, the interviewer is actually the one who brought up the conversation. She asked me, how much am I looking for? And I just said, I'm looking for this range. And she was like, we actually don't think we can afford that, but we'll get back to you. So when they got back to me, they actually gave me a different offer, and they were like, okay, this is the job that we think we can give you because of your experience and all of that, and this is what we have. And then that's when I was able to say, actually, hold on, why can't we not take it to this amount? And they were like, oh yeah, we can, we'll see. And they only gave me the official offer in a smaller amount because now they were giving me a new function. So I was like, okay, that means based on my interview skills and how I interviewed with them, it means that they really liked me. So now they even giving me a different role than what I had applied for, because they felt like my skill sets was just more advanced, like I could do something more in the company. And that is how I have negotiated for my salary in a new job. And in my other job, I negotiated after they gave me an official offer. And in this company, they were taking a really long time to give me my offer, and eventually they gave me my offer, and I tried to negotiate, and they were like, Gelly, hold on, we are not gonna do that. They're just like, nah. This is a market-based salary, and if you can't take it, bye, but this is what we're offering. Obviously, I did not say, okay, juices. I still stayed at the company, and I accepted the offer that they had given me. But that was an experience, and I was learning and growing my muscle of how to negotiate. I still don't think I'm as good at negotiating salary as I have heard my friends negotiate and what they've been telling me, but I think I'm getting there. Like, I've been learning, and I think I'm getting better. And now let's come to the other side of the coin. Okay guys, so now let's talk about how do you bring up the conversation of a salary increase at your current job. you have no desire of leaving the company, and these are not true for every scenario, but let's just keep some variables constant. You have no desires to leave your company, you love your company is good and healthy, but you feel like, I need more money. You just need more money. And I've heard people tell me that you can negotiate your salary based on your life events. Like, let's say you get married and you're just like, I'm gonna increase my salary. You want to start having the salary increase negotiation just because you got married. Let's say you just gave birth, you have a child, you want to negotiate a salary. I don't know if those reasons are good enough for a company to negotiate, but I know a lot of people actually do it like that and they succeed. And in this case, I have to be specific that I know men actually negotiate their salaries when they get married. Do women do it? I don't know. I've never negotiated my salary because I'm getting married. To be honest, I've never done it. And I've had people saying I should. I don't know. I just feel like it's a bit, I don't know. I'm judging myself if I were to do that. But I know that some people do it. So just because I never did it does not mean you can't do it. You can actually do it, especially if your company is a very family orientated culture company. Maybe you getting married is a good thing for the company and they value it. One of the reasons why companies actually negotiate, like they accept the negotiation from men for getting married, I think it's obviously there's a gender unbiasedness, there's a gender inequality happening there, definitely. But also there is a thing of, they say as a man, when you get married, you are more stable. I don't think they think the same way about women. I don't know. I've never tested this. I've never had the conversation with any of my managers at any of my job roles. So it's really not a topic that I would have, that I've never had personally. But I just think based on general assumptions, I think it's because they say men are now stable just because they married, and they're just saying that they're gonna have more responsibilities to take care of the family, so they are willing to increase their salaries, of which they should be willing to also increase the woman's salary. But I just don't think corporate is like that. So I'll be looking at what things to do when you want to increase your salary. How do you go about the negotiation for your salary? The first thing that you need to do, this is a general trick or advice that I would give to anyone who's in corporate, especially those big corporate companies where there are a lot of people, is number one, keep track of all your compliments. All the, thank you for that, thank you for this, you have helped the company grow like this, like that. Every time when they sending a level of gratitude towards you, when your manager is sending gratitude towards you, keep all those snippets. Like, have an Excel spreadsheet where you are recording everything, so that this will actually make it easier when you want to negotiate. You have reasons why you want to negotiate. And don't say you're going to remember those things. You're actually not going to remember the good things that your work said about you. And know who's your career sponsor at your company. This is a tricky topic, but it's something that I have gotten to experience, and I was so blessed enough. God had blessed me with an amazing career sponsor. Know the person who's a career sponsor in your company. And what is a career sponsor? A career sponsor is someone who you can tell within this company, this person speaks for me when they're in that boardroom or when they are in that meeting. So definitely know your career sponsor, and just note that your career sponsor might not be your manager, but it could be someone who sees value in you, who is inspired by your career trajectory, by your career confidence, someone who just likes you, but in a very career way, like not in a funny way, like they just like you in a clear career. You must grow, you must this, you must that. And that person is part of those conversations that happen in the company. So know who's your career sponsor. And how did I get to, because in one of my other companies, I had a career sponsor. I spotted my career sponsor during the interview. So during the interview, I was in the interview with the CFO and the manager. And the CFO, like they spoke. We spoke about articles, accounting, chartered accountant, the route that I followed and all of that. And then I was taken to an interview with someone else. And that person like was so intrigued on my level of knowledge, the things that I have done. He was so interested in my career trajectory, and that person became my career sponsor. He's the one who told them that they must change my role to be something else. I shouldn't be doing that thing because I have so many skills. He's the person who spoke for me. He spoke for me even before I was in that company, just because of how much he connected with me and how much he liked my career. And then when I was in the company, I was actually not reporting to that person, but I always greeted the person. I always like asked him like, what do you think about this? Like, I'd always keep him as excited as he was during my interviews. And we carried on with our career, him being my career sponsor, until I left the company. And I would tell him how I'm doing and all of that. Like, he would ask me questions like, how am I finding the job? And I tell him, it's easy, I'm doing this, that. Like, I'd always speak to him with so much enthusiasm. And he ended up being my career sponsor. So as much as you might point who's your career sponsor in an interview, please keep track of that person. Constantly, like, be eager to talk to them. Like, show them the excitement that you are happy here and all of that, because they also want to see that they made a good decision about choosing you to join the company, and that person is probably the one who had more to say for you before you even joined the company. So know your career sponsor. Number 3 is that when you are ready now to start the salary negotiation, before you write the formal official email, speak with your career sponsor about it. Just talk in a casual way. Just like, you know what, remember I said that you need to keep you must continue with the, with the relationship. You must continue with the relationship. But now, as you're talking with them on some days, just talk about how you would like your salary to increase. And once you start mentioning that, their posture might change to be like, oh, okay. But at the same time, be casual about it. Don't be too stuck and strict about it. Be casual. Like, say it in such a casual way, and that way you are nudging them to hear what are they going to say about what you want to do, or do they have any comments. But please be casual about it, because you don't want to put them in an awkward position. So just try to include it in your chats when you're talking with them. And number 4 is ask about salaries amongst your colleagues. Like, ask, when do salary increase happen within the company? Ask them like, how do, like, just when you're asking these questions, you want to understand, when are they expecting increases? Like, when does the company do budgets? Like, I got to find out from my previous manager. I tried to talk with my manager when I was negotiating my salary. My manager literally said that is not gonna happen, and I was like, side eye, but I was like, okay, that's fine, I get it, because she has her own budget, she wants to stick with her budget. And I just asked around with my other colleagues who are also managers. So I asked other people like, oh, so when do salaries increase? How much are they giving you? What happened? Like, I would ask other people about their salaries, but I wouldn't ask them to give me like the actual figure, because we had a company policy that you're not allowed to get an actual figure. Like, you're not allowed to, like, colleagues are not allowed to tell each other how much are they paying, how much are they getting paid, which I find ridiculous. But corporate is corporate. So definitely talk with your colleagues about salaries. Like, just try to, by having this conversation, you're actually just trying to have an idea how the company functions around salaries, and how do they value people based on salaries. And when I had these conversations, I had these conversations with people who were not even on my team, and I was trying to understand, where are they at? Like, what's the scene? Are their managers flexible? Are their managers not flexible? So that's why I think you should do this. And then number 5, before you even send the email, define your own personal reasons. Why do you want the increase? You need to have really strong reasons personally. Why do you want the increase? And this could be you're working extremely long hours. It could be that you are assigned more tasks at work, like your function has kind of grown without an official contract. And it could be about how great you are, how much maybe you are worth more than what they're currently giving you, and that is a good reason why they should give you an increase. So never sell yourself short. Like if you are amazing and you've been getting compliments that you are amazing, that is a reason to have a salary increase. And when you have been told that you are amazing and you are great, and you start having a salary increase conversation, should you not get the increase, they are most likely to give you a bonus because you asked them about it. And also whilst finding your reasons, even ask your other managers what do they think about this, how great you are. And also you could have personal reasons why you want to get a salary increase. So it could be that you feel like you don't have enough money to travel to work. That is a really personal reason, and it means that you are not getting paid enough, and you can see the company makes a lot of money, so you need to get a salary increase. That could be a good reason why you want a salary increase. And then you need to know the right person who you're going to send the email to. This might not be your manager, it might not even be your career sponsor, but maybe someone in the exec, someone who sits with the CFO, especially if you're in accounting, that might be the right person. So it's like, know who's the right person, who's the relevant person to send this email to or this request to. In other companies, it could actually be HR. So in some companies, this could be HR and not necessarily your manager or whoever the person you thought it is. So you need to find out who's the relevant person for a salary increase. And in some companies, it could be the budgeting team. Different companies are structured differently and different things happen differently. So don't assume, always know who's the right person to send it to. And you can get this information from your career sponsor. Your career sponsor likes you, like they will like you. They will like you, she or he likes you regardless of what you do. So you use that at your best advantage. And the seventh thing that you must do, send that email as soon as possible. So here are my general tips on when do I think is the right time to have the salary negotiation. I think you can start talking about the money before budget season. So before the year end of the company, you can have the conversation, or just after year end of the company, like when the company is starting. For example, at my previous job, they had a policy that their year end was in September, 30th of September, but they would start having the performance reviews around October, November. So during those performance reviews, that is your time to actually mention the salary increase. But when they're having those performance reviews, they'll tell you that they will start budgeting for new salaries the following year, and for them it was actually month end of March. So they were like, in April, we're approving a new bonus. So between September and March, they need to know whatever increase that must happen. If there's going to be a different structure in the company, it gets approved during that season. So some companies work with their year ends. And then at work, they say that they don't increase. At my previous work, this is not in my current job. My current job, I'm still quite new. I don't know how these things work. And I'm also in a very strict planned contract. I'm actually I'm not allowed to have this conversation because I'm not permanent. I'm not in that position. But at my previous job, I had, because I was permanently employed. So they will also say that when you get a bonus in December, so they do this performance review in October, November, and then in December you get the bonus. When you get the bonus, they say that you can't leave the company until March. If you leave the company after getting a bonus in December, they say you must repay them back. So during that season is the season where you can actually have the salary negotiation with them. And in some companies, I've heard that June is a big month because it's the mid-year for the company. So if they want to start plans, they will start having this conversation in June. So based on how your company functions, now is the right time to actually ask about those salary increase. This also allows them to plan better for the following year, because salary increases actually take a very long route. Like, they have to go through so many people to get approved, so they need as much ample time as possible to do all the due diligence that needs to happen for a salary increase. So yeah, so you need to understand your company. And I also think beginning of the year for some companies could be a good time to start the conversation and all of that. Just tell them about your life events, what has changed, and how would you like to grow. And obviously, if you have monthly check-ins with your manager, bring that conversation up and see how she responds. And try not to go ahead of your manager without her knowing. So at my other job, I had told my manager that I want to get an increase, and she was not interested. But I still went along with the conversation. And luckily, when my conversation got to the exec, the bigger people of the company, they approved it because I had valid reasons why I wanted an increase. And that is one of my success stories on how I asked for an increase and it was approved. And I must say that when I asked for an increase, my friends helped me. I had my one guy friend and my husband, who was then my boyfriend, they helped me to have the conversation. Like, they kind of like told me how to go about it and how to structure it and how to talk about it. Basically, I gave them more detailed reasons and they were able to direct me on how should I handle the conversation, how do I go about it. So now the next thing that I'm gonna give you guys a tip on is how do you structure the email. Let's say, okay, you've done all the things that I've just mentioned, you've spoken to your career sponsor, you know who to send the email to, but now how do you structure the email? What are the important things that you must do with the email? The first time I did my first salary negotiation, I sent my friend this long email and he was like, no, you can't do that. You can't be blabbling so much. Like, don't talk too much. Just stick straight to the point so they don't miss it. So make sure your email is very short, like just a short, brief email that you want a salary increase. So how do you go about the email? The first thing is acknowledge working there. Like, be like, hi dear ban bang bang bang, I am so happy to be working here. It's such a great environment and all of that. Say the positive things about the company. That's the first thing you must say, because remember, you are not trying to change companies. The second thing is how great it is, how you've grown, how explain your achievements in the company, how much influence you have done. And these sentences need to be very brief and direct. And then the third thing that you must make sure you do, you need to state the figure of how much your salary should increase to. You need to give them an amount. If you don't give them an amount, the salary negotiation can go very left. They can literally give you an increase of 1,000 when you were hoping for 10,000. So just tell them that you would like your salary to move from this to this range. I think a range is better, because my one friend said that a range is better because you're allowing them to even give you the highest amount that is possible. So you can give them a range that is a bit higher than you would want, and then they can lower it down. Remember, these are negotiations and things might go west or they can go south, but things most of the time always turn out really well because you have given them reasons on why do you want a salary increase. And I hope these tips and tricks were really helpful. And if you guys have more questions, or you want to know more how you can go about it, definitely send me a DM on all my social media platforms, or you can even comment here on YouTube. I hope this video was very useful and I hope it helps someone out there. And also to those who are actually managers, to the managers, if you know that your role has a certain budget, please try to influence the candidate that you're interviewing to get the highest amount of the budget. Having a good salary to start your career is actually so great, because then it sets you up even for your other career roles. So guys, please don't take this for granted. And if you think you are underpaid at your job, I'd say rather move jobs if you don't want to increase your salary, because you staying in a job where you are underpaid for too long will work out at your disadvantage in the longer term of your career. So you need to start your career at the highest amount as possible, and you try your best to maintain that higher amount. And I always say that, like, your 20s are for building a career ground that is strong and powerful, and your career needs to be also strong financially. The money is a big amount, is a big thing to be very confident in. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my channel. Please like, subscribe, and share this video to anyone who you think might find it very beneficial and who you think might benefit from these topics and these conversations. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.